Blog Talk Radio.
Greetings and salutations, Hempsters. This is your entrepreneurial host, Tyler Hemp with HempAware Radio, here to empower your hemposphere and focus on what's most important. If you'd like to listen to any of the past Hempisodes, including today's, you can visit the iTunes podcast library and type in the word HempAware, all one word, and you'll see all the archived broadcasts. Today I am thrilled and honored to have a very special guest, Gunhee Park with Ministry of Hemp. And you can check them out at ministryofhemp.com. They're on a mission to raise awareness about hemp, really educate people about the benefits, the value, and they're doing a wonderful job of curating a really cool hemp marketplace. So go to ministryofhemp.com, check out their stuff, get involved with their organization. They've got some really great links. Wonderful blogs and articles that they're working on. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to Gunhee Park so we can tell you about Ministry of Hemp and what they're up to. Welcome aboard, Gunhee. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Tyler, and thank you for the introduction.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your history and how you discovered hemp and what brought you to the development of Ministry of Hemp.
So my history, I used to work for a bigger tech company here in Austin, Texas, and it got to a point where I realized this is not what I wanted to do long term, working in a corporation, climbing up the ladder. When around the same time when I was getting those feelings, I actually discovered hemp at a local farmer's market. I've actually never heard of hemp before this. And I've never, I was never familiar with cannabis in general. So I was very hesitant when I first heard about hemp and that it was a part of a cannabis family. But my curiosity got the better of me that day, and I, bought some hemp seeds and some hemp lotion at the farmer's market that day, and then came home and tried it out. But how I really got involved in it was from the vendor who was selling it, and from the initial research I've done, I learned about all the amazing benefits that hemp and hemp seeds offer. And I thought to myself, why aren't more people using it if it's as good as it's claimed to be, right? So I started doing more research on hemp, its benefits, its applications, its history. And then I realized why there's a reason why many people in this country or in this society don't know about this plant, and if they do know about it, I realize there's a lot of misconceptions surrounding it because of its association with the psychoactive marijuana. So that's what got me started. I just learned about it, and I got more curious, and then I was started it kind of as a side project that I should develop some content to help educate people, and that was kind of the way I got introduced, or I got jump-started into Ministry of Hemp.
Cool. So do you have any relation, to kind of a biblical background or spiritual background? Because the word ministry could be perceived as kind of churchical or, spiritual or religious. Is it coming from that sense, or is it more like just ministering the truth? Tell us a little bit about how you came to that name.
So, there's actually no religious or biblical context on the name. It was more of the function of a ministry, right? If you think about a ministry, can stand for a department or some type of function in a government where they oversee or administer essentially some type of function for that society. And if you think about the different applications of hemp, there's so many, right? And if hemp was able to be continue to be developed throughout the past 80, 90 years, I think in this day of age, there would be a lot more applications, and there would actually be a department of hemp that, looks into the research and innovation of hemp products. But sadly, that's not the case, right? So what we were trying to say with Ministry of Hemp was that essentially it targets our goal. What we want to do with Ministry of Hemp is that we want to be an authoritative advocate of this plant that is the leading researcher and the leading organization that shares the truth about this product, and ultimately, is able to be a part of all the different applications that this plant will hopefully have in our society.
Cool. Yeah. So that brings me kind of to the next question and you kind of answered it already, which is, what are your main goals and what's the vision for Ministry of Hemp? And maybe you can expand upon that a little bit more. It sounds like you guys are focused on the educational aspects, being the number one research organization around this crop, this plant. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think there's really three main goals that I can break down our vision into. So one, as I mentioned earlier, is the education part of raising awareness of the truth and the plant or the benefits of this plant. And then number two is to ultimately be a central part of innovating different applications for this plant. And lastly, through both of these, I think an important part is to become one of the strongest advocates for this plant, not only within our country, but globally as well, to help its deregulation, first in our country, but also anywhere else where hemp is either misconstrued or is not fully legalized yet.
Awesome. So what are some of the ways that you plan on doing that? Are you guys doing kind of print media? Are you going to be doing video production? What do you foresee some of the mediums that you plan on, spreading this awareness and transforming content?
Yeah. So when we initially started creating content like infographics and education material, what we quickly realized was that there's only so much that can do in terms of the effectiveness of spreading the word and whatnot. For example, let's say you and I go on Facebook or whatever social media, see a very interesting post, we might like it or share it and whatnot, but other than that, we really wouldn't do much else about it, right? Even if it is something interesting. And we really quickly realized that with some of the material we created, we got very viral responses from some of the infographics we created about what all the different applications of hemp are or how it's different from marijuana. But other than that, people don't take more action after their first interaction on the web. So then we started thinking about how can people actually learn firsthand the benefits of this product. And the best way to do it is, if you think about our everyday uses, is to just use the product, right? When you use a product that is amazing, then you're going to be like, wow, this is something that I should go share with my friends. And that's kind of the quickest way to spread the word. And that was kind of the background of the hemp market, was let's go hand select and curate the most unique and top quality applications of hemp, and market it to mainstream consumers so that they can try it and spread the word. So that's kind of the big push for us right now, is offering quality products to consumers who might have never even heard about or never tried hemp.
Cool. So your market isn't already hemp-aware people, but people that, like yourself, maybe just came across it for the first time at a farmer's market, or they've never heard of it before. They think it's the devil's weed. They know there's no difference between hemp and cannabis for medical purposes. So you're kind of targeting or focused on getting to the people that are totally hypnotized, so to speak, or that have no idea what hemp is.
Yeah, I think it's both. Even people who are aware of hemp, it's just a great platform for them to learn about what are some different products they can adopt into their daily life. But in order to get to a point where hemp is essentially like an everyday ingredient in our society, we have to target the larger market, right? And that's what we hope to do by essentially offering these quality products, is that eventually it gets to a point where it's not like, oh, what's hemp? It's more of, oh yeah, I use hemp for, when I, like, for my shampoo, I use hemp for, I eat hemp seeds for my breakfast and things like that, that everybody can be saying something like that. That's the point where I want it to get to.
Yeah, rather than like, oh, what is hemp? It's like, oh, what is my favorite use for hemp?
Yeah, exactly. And I think a good example of this type of phenomenon is like kale. For example, if you think about the kale plant, if you just think back like 10 years ago, right, kale was not very well known. Like if you ordered a salad, like nobody was like, oh, can I have a kale salad? But if you research if you look into kale went viral, it was about around 2010, 2012, where there was a lot of viral campaigns that essentially made kale an everyday thing for us now. Like anybody who is looking for a healthier lifestyle will adopt kale into their salad or smoothies or whatever, right? So I think kale is a good benchmark that, like, we can say like, oh, that's another plant that really just grew out of nowhere, and now it's like an everyday part of our lives.
Exactly. So there's going to be that tipping point for hemp, and hemp is a very well-known plant across the planet. It's just like you said, there's the unawareness. There's the people that have no idea what it is, and then there's the people that like kind of know what it is, but they think it's marijuana and are a little bit afraid of it. And then there's the people that, maybe put it in their smoothie every once in a while. And then there's the people that completely are like, advocates for it, and all they do is wear it and eat it and use it in every product possible that they can, like you and me.
Yep.
So you're really there to provide a platform for a wide spectrum of people that are just coming into the industry, want to learn what this is, get educated, understand the distinction between hemp and cannabis as a medical plant, and hemp for industrial or commercial applications. And that's awesome. That's really why I wanted to, bring you on the shows, because you have such a similar mission and purpose. And, the last 15 years of being in the hemp industry, we really do want to be a cooperation rather than competition. We're not here to compete against each other, because if we want to help this planet, or if we want to create a paradigm shift on the planet and how we think, how we live our lives, how we do business together, then we really need to work together and team up so that we can dispel this illusion that has been propagated or promulgated by big business to demonize this plant. So what are some of your favorite aspects of hemp? Like, what do you love using it for?
I would say two main things, if I had to really narrow it down. One, well, the first reason I got more interested was the whole nutrition part, right? Like hemp seeds or hemp oil are much better, healthier alternatives than the conventional products you typically buy at a grocery store. But so that was my initial interest. But when I think about why I'm so passionate about the plant, I think it's more about its sustainability and eco-friendliness. The more I research I do, like, I come to learn how, number one, adaptable hemp is, and so it's like a possible crop. It's a possible option as a crop for most farmers in the United States, especially those where the soil condition is bad, right? Like hemp is a great rotational crop in the fact that it will nourish the soil. It can grow in places where they're experiencing severe drought and whatnot. And once it is grown, it's a cash crop for the farmers. And then for the consumers, they can feel good about using the plant because it is such a sustainable crop where it can be, regrown quickly and anywhere. Mm-hmm. So when I think about the future, I think it's just good alternative to some of the unsustainable practices that we have right now. For example, fossil fuel, synthetic plastic, tree paper, just to state a couple examples. But if we can somehow not fully replace it, because I think that's being pretty ambitious, but if we can just offer an alternative, a healthier solution for consumers, I think that's a possible goal that we can strive for.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So it's not that you have like one particular favorite product to use. It's more about the sustainability, the eco-friendly aspect of it, the earth-friendly aspect, and the fact that it will affect not only the environment but our economy. The sustainability aspects are just so crucial, and I totally agree with you. What do you have to say to people that say, oh, I would use hemp, but it's too expensive? What would be a reply that you would have to somebody that says something like that?
Yeah, I think, my immediate response would be that, like, if you think about the supply and demand, it's logical that it's more expensive than their alternate options right now, because number one, it's not fully legalized to grow in this country yet. We have to import everything, which is mainly the reason why it is so expensive. There's that, but also the fact is what I'm promoting, and I think a good way to get introduced into hemp is not it's not the fact that you have to replace everything you're using today with a hemp product. I think it's not that expensive to replace like your shampoo with hemp shampoo, or just to get a couple of hemp shirts to at least get introduced to what the quality of hemp. Because I think what's amazing about hemp is that, like, a lot of other things you start using, when you think about, it's more sustainable, then you might also think, but it's not as good as like the conventional product. But I think what people will realize is that, like, when they start using hemp, is it's equally as good, if not better, than what's already out there. So if it's a little more expensive, it's because it's better quality, right? And then I would recommend them to use it just because it's better quality. And if enough people use it, and then the movement grows to a point where it's fully legalized and farmers start planting hemp in this country, I think the cost of it will just eventually come down.
Exactly. We won't have all the taxation for importation, all of the shipping costs, and having our own farmers. And not only is it going to save the consumer money, it's going to increase the value of our own economy, because we're going to be producing more products at home once again, like we did back in the 30s and 40s for World War II. All that will be grown on our own soil. So it'll be helping our own soil, it'll be helping our own economy, it'll be helping our own environment and all the rest. So I completely agree. I think, if people want higher quality, they're going to invest in it. They're going to put their money, where their values are. And I completely agree. The more that we do consume hemp, the quicker we're going to bring the cost down. And there may be higher costs in the future with like textiles and things like that, because the processing is very intricate and requires, machinery that's very expensive and all that. But overall, I think you're right that in the next, hopefully 5 to 10 years, we'll be producing enough hemp to not have to import it. So with regard to what you see happening, I kind of mentioned like the next 5 to 10 years, what do you envision for hemp and its future, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years on a local level, but also on a global level? How do you foresee it playing out?
So there's like what I hope to see, and then me being more realistic of what I think will happen. So I'll start with what I hope to see first. My dream, or what I hope, especially being part of Ministry of Hemp, is that hemp will be fully legalized by the end of this year, that more and more farmers will have started planting hemp as a rotation crop as much as they plant corn or soybeans. I hope to see more food options, more body care options, and consumer clothing using hemp as an ingredient, and just a lot more innovation starting to happen. But I think expecting all that in 5 years is a bit ambitious, considering, and the reason I say this is when I look back at the past 20 years and the progress we've made, it's definitely a slow and steady process in terms of what has happened. So I think that's what we have to expect, even though we can be optimistic. So when I think about the next 5 years, I just hope that knowing our political system, hopefully it will be fully legalized within the next 5 years. And in order to help that, though, I think there's a lot of things that businesses like ours can do to grow the momentum. If we can help spread the word of mouth of how amazing hemp products are, I think that momentum will continue to grow. So it gets to a point where mainstream consumers all know about hemp, and they're asking, wait, this is illegal, you know? I think that should be the question, like, why is this illegal? Because that everybody uses it, and that stigma disappears.
Exactly. Yeah, the more people that question that status, the more answers are going to come up as to why, and they're going to see the reality and the truth. And that's what Ministry of Hemp is here to do, is get to the truth and get to the core of, you know, the benefit and the value that hemp has and can provide to industry, to health, to our homes, to our, you know, businesses, our vehicles. Every industry essentially can be dramatically benefited from this plant. And I agree, the more people that are talking about that, the quicker we're going to see that transformation.
Yeah, agreed.
So we kind of already talked about your favorite aspects of hemp and a little bit about, you know, how you came to hemp, seeing it for the first time at farmers market. Now let's talk a little bit more about, you're an entrepreneur, obviously. You're starting your own company. You came from a corporate background. And so you have some sense of, you know, principles or ideals of how to run a company. Tell us a little bit about, you know, the principles or you know, kind of the foundation of how you're creating this company, or maybe, you know, some of your mentors, or how you plan on operating the business.
Yeah. So when you think about the hemp industry and where it's at right now, it's the mindset we have is that it's not about the quick success. The whole hemp industry is in it for the long haul, in my opinion, and that's the mindset that our company has too. Is that it is a journey, and when you think about that journey, it's not about the quick profits or, you know, try to generating as much revenue as possible as soon as we can. So when we have that in mind, I think what we're trying to do is doing everything diligently and with quality. And the first step of that we can show is how we've gone ahead and selected some of the products that we are offering in our market. Is we've hand-selected products that we would only use, and we want to offer customer service and the customer experience where customers, from the point they order the product to the point where they receive it and use it, and if they somehow don't like it, to the point of how they return the product. We want all of that to be flawless, even if it means more cost to our company in the beginning, because I think that initial customer experience and like people using this product and get like how they feel about it in the beginning will really help the momentum grow of the word of mouth and people sharing it with their friends and family.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So really just a grassroots approach, it sounds like. You're really just wanting to get to people's hearts and focus on, you know, doing it with quality and integrity, and doing your kind of educational platform, and whether it's through blogs or infographics or possibly videos in the future, it's all going to be based on integrity. It's all going to be based on kind of what the whole hemp plant represents, which is abundance and truth and integrity. So I totally acknowledge you for that, and thank you for that commitment. And I'll definitely support you in that. We have a very similar mission, I think, with Hemp Aware, is to obviously raise awareness about hemp, hence the name Hemp Aware. So Ministry of Hemp is very, very awesome platform. If you all haven't checked it out, check it out today, ministryofhemp.com. We just have maybe about 5 minutes left, so I have just a couple more questions for you. What do you feel, or why do you feel it's so crucial for humanity to switch to hemp? Like, as far as, what are the downside? If we don't switch over to hemp, if we don't legalize it, if we don't consume it on a daily basis and start switching over, petroleum-based products or lumber or cotton or whatever we could switch from, what would you say some of the downside or the negative effects of not switching over on humanity?
I think it just goes back to some of the points I made earlier about sustainability. Hemp might not be the sole answer to the problems that we're having as a society, and I'm not here to claim that it is, but I think any type of solution, in this case a plant, that could help move our society in the right direction is one that we should take seriously. Obviously, there still needs to be a lot of research and innovation that needs to happen in this space, but it's been proven that it is a feasible option to reduce CO2 emission, help fight climate change, and whatnot. So, and there's already innovators here in the U.S., in Europe, that are building houses and buildings out of hemp, that are making cars out of hemp, and whatnot. And when you look at them, and the reason why they're doing it is all because of sustainability. And I think whatever solutions out there to make make what we're doing more sustainable are all good options that we should consider more seriously.
Absolutely. So it comes down to the sustainability. If we're continuing at the rate that we are, consuming the way we are, petroleum-based products, pesticide-ridden products, we're going to go downhill quick, and a lot of these alternatives to hemp are unsustainable, and you're absolutely right. So with just about 30 seconds left, or if you had 30 seconds to send a message to the entire planet, if this show was going to be heard by every human being on the planet, what would be a 30-second clip or a last kind of message that you would leave for the planet regarding hemp or anything?
Yeah, I would say a lot of people. It's easy for a lot of people to dismiss or make a joke about hemp when they hear when they hear hemp. Their ears are like, "Oh, is that the same thing as marijuana?" Or like, "Oh, am I going to get high off of this?" or whatnot. I would say don't take this lightly and try a hemp product before you dismiss it, because if you experience it and learn about the benefits of hemp, I think you will be amazed. And if you are somebody who knows the benefits of hemp, I would say don't be shy about spreading the words to your friends or family, and don't think you'll be embarrassed when people associate you with potentially like marijuana and whatnot, because at the end of the day, I think word of mouth will be the best platform and best way for this movement to grow. And in order for that to happen, everybody needs to be involved.
You heard it, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in today. This is your Hempy host, Tyler Hemp. Gunhee, thanks so much for being on today's show. Go buy something hemp today, whether it's at Whole Foods or your local health food store. Look up a hemp store near you or a store that carries hemp and go buy something hemp if you haven't done it in a while. Or if you did it yesterday, do it again today. Be part of this movement and see the change in the world, be the change that you want to see in the world. Thanks so much, Gunhee, for being with us on today's show.
All right. Thanks for having me, Tyler.
Peace out, everyone.